Welcome to part 2 of the Pokemon Masters EX Beginner's Guide. In this video, we will be covering the Sprint and Field EX roles. Additionally, we will discuss the benefits for each role after increasing a synced pair's potential to 6-star EX. Also, we will cover move levels, grids, passive skills, lucky skills, weather, terrain, zones, and a closer look at synced countdown acceleration. To better help with understanding the Field EX role, let's break down weather, terrain, and zones first. Like in the main series games, weather and terrains benefit the Pokemon type and move type they correspond with. Unlike the main series though, zones was introduced to give other Pokemon types benefits too. To start with, there are 4 different types of weather. First, sun, which boosts fire type Pokemon and their fire type moves by 50%. Second, rain, which boosts water type Pokemon and their moves by 50%, the exact same as sun. Third, hail. This weather is different compared to the past 2 weather effects. Instead of giving the ice-type Pokemon a damage boost, the weather causes chip damage after a Pokemon uses a move. Fourth, the final weather is sandstorm. Similarly to hail's weather effect, this also causes chip damage and is taken advantage of by both rock and ground-type Pokemon. Next are terrains. In Pokemon Masters EX, there are 3 different terrains that can be used. The first is electric terrain, which boosts electric type moves by 50%. It also has the additional benefit of preventing the sweep status from affecting the team while active on the field. Side note: status conditions will be covered in a later video. The second is psychic terrain, which boosts psychic type Pokemon and psychic type moves by 50% while active on the field. The third and final terrain is grassy terrain, which boosts grass type Pokemon and grass type moves by 50%. Additionally, grassy terrain heals each team member after a move is used. Zones, which are exclusive to Pokemon Masters EX, are identical to terrains. They provide a 50% damage boost to their corresponding Pokemon and move type. Some examples are Dark Zone, which boosts Dark-type Pokemon and Dark-type move, Steel Zone, which boosts Steel-type Pokemon and Steel-type moves, and Fairy Zone, which boosts Fairy-type Pokemon and Fairy-type moves. Now that we are familiar with weather, terrains, and zones, it's time to cover the field sync pair. These sync pairs focus on activating one of the 3 previously discussed field effects, boosting the team's damage output while being able to deal large amounts of damage themselves. These sync pairs are best paired with other sync pairs that share the same type, making sure to get the full benefit of the damage boosts it provides. It's time to cover sync move countdown acceleration. This will provide a better understanding of the sprint role. Sync move countdown is the number of moves that need to be used before being able to activate a sync move. In general, at the start of each battle, the sync move countdown will start at 9. To make this as simple as possible, imagine every 3 moves, 1 per sync pair as a turn. Looking at it like this means after 3 turns, you will be able to activate a sync pair's sync move.
I will finish this.
Taste this!
Go!
Now that we understand sync countdown, let's cover sync countdown acceleration. This allows the amount of moves needed to be used to reach a sync move to decrease. The amount varies depending on the sync pair.
Show them a battle!
Running through! I will finish this! Try this!
Taste this!
The sprint role focuses on synced countdown acceleration. This allows the team to reach sync moves faster, increasing the team's sync buff, which adds a 50% damage increase after each sync move. As well, a sync move deals massive amounts of damage depending on the sync pair being used to sync, making sprint sync pairs amazing on any team they are added to. Knowing each of the roles, now let's cover the benefits of increasing sync pairs to 6 stars. First is support. After a sync move is used for the first time, the team will gain 2 sync buffs increasing damage by 100%. This only happens on the first sync move. Second is striker. Once a sync move is used, it hits the entire opponent's team instead of just a single target. This happens every sync move. Third is tech. This increases the sync pair's sync moves damage by 1.5%, increasing the pair's damage output. Fourth is field. After using its sync move, a field effect is activated as well as extended, lasting longer than average. This only happens on the first sync move. Last is sprint. Once the sync move is used, sync countdown is decreased by 3. This only happens on the first sync. Now that we've finished covering roles, their 6-star EX, field effects, sync countdown, and sync acceleration, we can now focus on move levels. In Pokemon Masters, EX move levels go from 1, which is the sync pair's base kit, to 5, which unlocks the sync pair's full power. Move levels can be increased using 2 methods. The first is pulling multiple copies of the same sync pair. The second is using move candies. Move candies can be obtained after collecting 20 move candy coins. Each one of the roles have their own specific move candy and move candy coin. Additionally, there is a gold move candy and move candy coin that can be used on any of the roles to increase their move level. The benefits of increasing a sync pair's move level are increased base stats, increased move power, and more of the sync pair's sync grid is unlocked. Also, move candies come in 3 different levels. A 3-star move candy increases the move level of a 3-star sync pair. Next is the 4-star move candy that increases 4-star sync pairs. Both of these can be obtained through event rewards. Last is 5-star move candies, which are only obtained through move candy coins. 5-star move candies are extremely valuable, so make sure to only use them on the sync pairs you want to invest in. If more copies of the pair can be earned, like the damage challenge sync pairs, get more copies. Do not waste 5-star move candies on them. Passive skills are additional effects that are unique to each sync pair. These passive skills can range from 1 passive to 3 passives. Reading and becoming familiar with what each sync pair's passive skill will help understand the pair's play style and what other sync pairs would best fit on the team. Lucky skills are similar to passive skills, except you can only use one at a time, and you choose what skill is best for the battle situation you are in. Lastly, some pairs have a 4th passive skill. These are called master pairs. The additional passive skill will increase damage and damage reduction based on the number of matching sync pairs on the team. Once again, becoming familiar with what each passive's details are, is essential. To finish off part 2 of the Pokemon Masters EX Beginner's Guide, we will cover sync grids. Sync grids are extremely important and can be complicated. As we discussed in the move level section, the higher the sync pair's move level, the more the sync pair's grid will be unlocked. To make this as simple as possible, there are 3 types of nodes in a pair's sync grid. Nodes are each individual section of the grid. Type 1 is base stat increases. These add additional base stats to the sync pair. Type 2 are move power-ups. They increase the base power of the sync pair's damaging move and can also increase the move's accuracy. Lastly, Type 3, these nodes are basically passive skills. Some increase damage by adding multipliers to the sync pair's damage output, some can refresh a move's page, others can make you immune to status conditions or stat drops. So make sure to read each node in a sync pair's grid to help decide which nodes to use. Additionally, each node has an energy value that is used when the node is active. Sync pairs have 60 energy that can be used to pick out a grid layout. Base stat increases and move power increases are low cost, while damage multipliers will be expensive. Make sure you pick the lowest cost route to the nodes you want on the sync pairs grid. This will allow more beneficial nodes to be active. This is the end of Part 2 of the Pokemon Masters EX Beginner's Guide. Keep a lookout for Part 3 covering more of Pokemon Masters. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment.